Hello everyone, good morning. I believe it's the morning, it's 9:30 in Australia. It's actually late in the afternoon here in Quito. We've had a lovely day. We might be a bit nervous. Is anybody nervous here?
Yes.
A bit nervous. You'll forgive us. This is our first webinar we're doing, and we're delighted to have you with us. What is for us this afternoon, for you it's actually tomorrow morning, which is a strange thought. Thank you very much for joining us from Australia. Today we're going to have a great overview of these two amazing regions and these two amazing products, well, four amazing products we're actually going to see. First of all, who's talking to you today? We are Dominic. I'm Dominic Hamilton. As you can tell from my accent, I'm not Ecuadorian. I'm a Brit. I'm Pom. I fell in love with Ecuador and an Ecuadorian about 14 years ago, and I've enjoyed every minute since. And I've been invited. I'm very lucky to be here with Lorena Arregui, who's representing Advantage Travel and their products. Hello, Lorena.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
And also we've got Manuel, who's representing Latin Trails and their Galapagos products.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So now you know who we are. I just wanted to let you know about the two companies. So Advantage Travel have been great experts in the industry, have been operating here in Ecuador for what amounts to really decades. They're a DMC operator. They have the two boats that we're going to look at for the Amazon, and they also have a wonderful place down on the Pacific coast called the Mantarraya, and an operator which is the same as Latin Trails. Latin Trails has been around about 20 years as well, and they have the two yachts that we'll see in the Galapagos Islands today, and they'll soon be opening a very exciting new boutique hotel in the old town of Quito, which we're looking forward to. So we're going to take up about half an hour of your time. Hopefully it'll be very valuable. Please don't hesitate to use the chat window to send your questions. We've got a team of people who can answer them while we go, and hopefully we'll have enough time to maybe answer one or two live at the end. And of course we've got our contact details, so you can ask your questions directly as well if there's anything more specific that you need to get into. We're going to divide the next half an hour into roughly three. I'm going to start telling you about Ecuador very quickly and an overview of the country. Then we're going to dive into the Amazon and all the experiences, the selling points that we think are valuable down there, literally down there. It's lower than where we are here. And then we're going to zoom across to the Galapagos Islands out there in the Pacific Ocean and have an overview of the selling points that are available that you should remember for that part of the world. And don't forget, at the end of all this, you can't go away. You could maybe just about fit in a cup of tea, but I wouldn't advise it. We're going to have prizes. One person, lucky person, is going to come away from today with a cruise on one of the ships in the Galapagos and one of the yachts in the Amazon. So that's pretty amazing. So we're going to kick off with this country called Ecuador. And as the name denotes, we're right on the equator. That's where the name comes from a mission in the 18th century that came actually to measure the size of the world, and they came away actually with enough science to determine, okay, this is the equator, so maybe someone should name the country a few years later after this physical phenomenon that we live here. We're right in the middle of the world. Some people think we're further down in South America, further south. Some people think we're a long way from the States. We're not. We're a long way possibly from Australia, but then, as you know, most places are, and you guys are used to traveling long distances to come to amazing places such as our country. Ecuador often is called like South America in a nutshell. So as we're looking at this map of South America, I think it's a truism. It's very true that Ecuador has all the elements that one finds in South America. We've got the Andes, we've got the Amazon that we'll see a bit more today. We have beaches, and then on top of that we have the Galapagos Islands. We have indigenous cultures, we have all sorts of different types of vegetation zones and climates. So it's an amazing country for particularly perhaps for first-time visitors to come to. Because we're on the equator, we don't have any seasons, bizarrely. It's the same time, the sun rises and the sun sets at exactly the same time every day. We can actually have 4 seasons in one day, believe it or not. It can start sunny, then it can cloud over. We can even get hail up here in Quito, which is very strange. You're walking around in a t-shirt in the morning and then there's a hailstorm in the afternoon. But it makes for prodigious nature, as we're going to see, and it's a great, means it's also a great country to visit. You really don't have to think about what time of year you're going to be visiting. In terms of coming into Ecuador, we don't have any visa restrictions at all. I think we only have them for China. And that shouldn't affect any Australians there. They're very straightforward. And in terms of vaccinations, obviously it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor or get advice from good websites about what jabs you might need. But we don't, for instance, have the yellow fever jab as a requirement to come into Ecuador. We've heard that the Ecuadorian government might well bring in travel insurance requirement from September, which many other countries around the world, or Schengen, for example, require that as to come into the country. And it's probably, I'm sure all your travelers have travel insurance anyway. It's a good idea to have. So very straightforward in terms of any visas or anything like that. So as we said, this country here, right on the middle of the world, the country of these 4 worlds in one. Why do we say that? Well, if we look from, actually let's go from right to left. We've got the Amazon in that green zone there to the right, which would be east. Then we've got the purple zone of the Andes that rise up in the middle of the country. And then pretty much the Pacific seaboard, the Pacific coast is in yellow, and then the Galapagos Islands. So you've got, in the size of a country the size of the UK, roughly, or the state of Colorado. So very small landmass, you've got these 4 amazing worlds squeezed into one. And what does that translate into? You've got the experiences such as different nature, giant tortoises in the Galapagos, whales on the Pacific coast, snow-capped volcanoes in the Andes, and monkeys in the Amazon, just to give it a visual representation of everything that is squeezed into this South America in a nutshell country. So that also translates into different experiences, whether that can be nature. We should also mention adventure as well. You can be mountain biking, kayaking, rafting, paragliding, snorkeling, diving. All of this can happen in this very small country. Culturally as well, the Ecuador is a fascinating country in terms of its indigenous cultures. In 3 of the worlds, you'll find different indigenous cultures with their traditions, their languages, their cooking, etc. And I think for experiences as well, we're an amazingly diverse country that can cater for all sorts of taste. If you're looking for relaxation, if you've got clients that are high-end, there's plenty on offer in different worlds. You can have, hard adventure, soft adventure, and we also believe it's a great country for different types of travelers, obviously with children or solo travelers or multi-generation groups as well. They can all find something, and no one should be bored ever in Ecuador or fed up or sulking like this guy here on the beach with the sea lions. He's obviously not happy. So wonderful experiences in all those different worlds. And something that's also important, the travelers decide often live from that. If Napoleon said that an army lived on their stomach, then I think it's true of travelers as well. And therefore, Ecuador is an amazing country. Its fame as a gastronomic destination is growing. Here in Quito, there's some fantastic restaurants. There's a whole generation of young chefs that are experimenting and kind of reinventing Ecuadorian cooking, as well as further afield. When you start traveling the country, there are plenty of amazing traditional dishes. And of course, with this diversity, you've got seafood and fish down on the coast, and bananas and peanuts and coconut. Whereas in the Andes, it's completely different. You're talking, blackberries, lots of potatoes. Of course, potatoes come from the Andes, the great gift of the world. Where would the world be without chips? So you've got all sorts of apples. The pig and pork is a very big, important part of the diet. And the Amazon is going to be different again, with river fish and different kind of culinary tastes, more spicy cuisine down in the Amazon as well. And in the Galapagos, you're probably going to expect amazing seafood and a kind of mix of everything. So great culinary destination as well. So we've done pretty well. That was Ecuador in 7 minutes, I think we took to give you a quick overview. And then I don't know how many of you know the country. Those of you that do can vouch for it and the experiences therein. So on to what the nub of what we were going to share with you today, these two worlds of the Amazon and the Galapagos, and how we think you can combine them with this exciting itinerary that we'll talk about a bit more at the end. So for the moment, let's dive in with the Amazon and Lorena. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, everyone. Well, let's say, can you imagine being in the high of the Andes in Quito, capital of Ecuador, and take a short flight from Quito to Coca? It only lasts 30 minutes, and you arrive to the deepest of the Ecuadorian Amazon basin.
Is that right then? So you fly in the morning, and you're saying you're on one of your two boats by when? By lunchtime?
That's correct. You arrive, let's say, around 11:30, and then you have a 10 minutes driving to the pier, and then over there we have our VIP lunch where you can have some snacks, beverage, and use the toilet, and then you have a ride from 1.5 hours on our canoes, and then you will arrive to the Anaconda or to the Manatee, just for lunchtime.
So a completely different world.
Yeah, in the same day.
In the same day, in the morning. Talking about that world, I think it's interesting to touch really briefly on this world of the Amazon, its biodiversity. It has something to do with the ice ages and not the movie.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Although Ecuador is a small country with a seashore on the Pacific Ocean and with the Andes dividing the country from north to south, almost 1/3 of the country lies in the Amazon basin. That's a total of 40% of the total area.
Right.
15 million years ago, the Andes were formed by the collision of the South American plate with the Nazca plate. The rise of the Andes blocked all the rivers and caused the Ecuadorian Amazon basin to become a vast inland sea. Gradually, this inland sea became a massive, swampy, freshwater lake, and the marine inhabitants adapt to live in fresh water. During the Ice Age, sea levels dropped, and the great Ecuadorian Amazon lake rapidly drained and became a river, forming the most biodiverse place on Earth, and home to 1 of 10 of all animals and planet species.
This is stunning, isn't it? There's amazing records for the Amazon. Did you say 1 in 10? Will you say that again?
1 in 10 of all animal and planet species.
They're all in the Amazon. So we had this strange effect of this Ice Age, where they had this refuge of wildlife, that's what scientists think, and then this combination of this rising of the Andes that make this huge watershed of the Amazon and change the whole climate. And that's probably why, that's why scientists think we've got that biodiversity. Considering we're on the equator, and we talked about the weather for Ecuador in general, talk to us about the weather down in the Amazon, please.
Well, as the name says, it's the rainforest, so just expect some raining over there.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically it's raining, humid and warm. The rain becomes more frequent in March and goes through July. August through December is more like a fluctuation season, meaning it can rain in a minute, and the next it could be sunny.
Right.
And the dry season goes from January to March. But it doesn't mean that it's not a good time to visit the Amazon.
Right.
In my opinion, it's the best time because it's where the animals come out from the jungle looking for the water.
Looking for the water. Okay, great. So there's no, like Ecuador, there's no bad time.
There's no bad time to come and visit.
You're probably going to have rain no matter what time of year you go.
Yeah,
but
expect
that's
rain,
what rubber boots and wellies are for, as well.
Yes, of course. And can you imagine after the raining, it's everything green, everything fresh, and all the animals singing and running and coming out like the rabbits.
Okay. So we've got this representation here of Ecuador. This is like a longitudinal cut. This would be the Andes, and we've got this Amazon rainforest. And actually, although you think at first that the Amazon is kind of this homogeneous forest called the Amazon, there's actually lots of different types of forest. There's a flooded forest, there's dry forest, there's rivers, and that translates into this amazing plant life as well.
Yeah, different kind of fauna, different kind of flora over there. So you can be like canopying, you can be kayaking over there, and you will be entering to the deepest of the Amazon jungle just in a minute. So because the river is so narrow, you can see the two borders left to right. So that's amazing.
And there's these different types of vegetation as you go. No?
Yes,
so
of course.
Lakes, or there's the sides of the river.
Yeah, there are loads of lakes, and also there are loads of islands within. So it is really nice to see, and it will be different each day you go downstream the river.
As you travel on the boats as well, it changes. And in this flora that we've got, I think you mentioned the orchids are amazing.
Yes, orchids. The Ecuadorian Amazon Basin is the most biodiverse place on Earth, with more than 400 species of plants, with more than 2,000 bromeliads and 20,000 orchids, and of course, the giant sabals.
Which you can see here. This is like a tower.
Yeah, that's the tower. Yeah, and the best place to be over there is like the best time over there will be really early in the morning. This is the paradise for bird lovers because, as you can see, there are more than 600 of them. So all
600
together,
species
600
in the Ecuadorian Amazon that can be spotted.
Amazing.
And you can also spot little guys like this guy.
Yeah, that's the pygmy marmoset.
It's a gremlin.
Yeah, actually, you can say. So
he's the smallest monkey.
Yeah, it's the size of the finger.
It's teeny weeny. So tell us more about this.
So it's not surprised. This is a home for the most biological abundant place in the world. Home for more than 600 birds, 170 mammals, 120 amphibians and reptiles, such as bats, spider monkeys, macaws, toucans, caimans, honeybirds, piranhas, pink dolphins, and of course, the great anacondas and manatees.
Oh, wow. So we're getting a few images of those there, of this amazing diversity that we have, and hopefully, obviously hard to see lots of wildlife in the Amazon, but you'll always see something, and I think the Ecuadorian Amazon, really, you've got a very good chance of seeing some amazing creatures while you're there. The amazing things you can see as well as part of the diversity that we talked about in Ecuador or in the Amazon is also cultural, right?
Yes, of course. When you go down from Coca down to Rocafuerte, we have more than 15 different kind of communities. The one that we are going to see will be the Quichuas, Cofanes, and Sionas.
Great.
With them, we have loads of interaction. We work with them, and we learn from them.
So, and talking about these cultures, you've got the conservation projects.
Yes, of course. We have been working.
Communities.
We have been working with them for a few years. For example, here we have the Charapa project.
What's a charapa?
This is a little turtle over there, and and they hunt the eggs just in the border of the river. And in the past, these communities used to eat them. Of course, they hunt and eat what is in the Amazon.
In the morning.
Yes,
Who doesn't want a fried egg?
Of course. So right now, they have learned, and they have they receive from most of the guests that visit the Amazon a fee that helps them to buy the food instead of hunting. So, for example, right now, instead of having a turtle egg, they are having a chicken egg. So by this, they know they are increasing the population of the turtles over there.
Yeah, and you can adopt one of these.
Yes, actually, you can be the godfather of the godmother, and you can put them the nicknames and then release into the river.
You can't put your name on the turtle, then. You can't.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
I'm afraid. It would be really nice, though.
Okay. Another program, you've got two other programs. One of them is this amazing pink dolphin, which is this river dolphin.
Yes, that's correct. This is the pink dolphin. We have done basically, as you know, most of the pink dolphins that you see around the world, they are in captivity, whereas over here they are free. They are free to come and go.
Right.
Yeah, so, but as you know, they are really friendly and they love to be around people, so they can be curious. Can you imagine just being swimming and then it's like a pink dolphin will be just next to you?
Okay. And then we've got another wonderful creature that is also pretty endangered or critically endangered according to the IUCN. Now, this is this.
Yeah, this is the manatee. The manatee, we are trying to do the same project as we have done with the pink dolphin,
Right.
and that will mean that we will find with the Ecofanes and the Sionas the perfect spot to bring them, for example, a couple of them, and then there will be more and more and more coming on. But we need to find the perfect place. But this place is not going to be in captivity. They are going to be same as the dolphin ones.
Right.
They can come and go as they wish.
Okay. So to get an idea of what we talked about this river world, and these are the itineraries, the different itineraries that your boats have as they go down the river.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we arrived to Coca, and then we arrived
on the left. Here,
yeah,
right,
that's
over the way to the,
and
to
then
the
we
west.
arrived to Limoncocha or Pañacocha, and the way we do is like we go downstream the river until Rocafuerte, and then we go upstream, visiting most of the part of the Yasuní National Park, and then in deep into La Lago Cocha. It depends, it depends of the itinerary you choose, because we have from 3, 4, and 7 nights.
Okay.
Remember that 3 will not see the manatees because they are really down the river. They are in Rocafuerte,
Right.
so you will
But they'll
need to
still see a
take
lot.
you will need to take the 4 or the 7 nights.
So here we've combined, what the slightly kind of sample adventures that the anaconda and the manatee have. So maybe meeting people from the community, learning what they eat, things like that.
Doing the kayaking, we do like kayaking. We have camping on board the manatee. We have glamping on board the anaconda, and then we have swimming. We have fishing. You can fish actually a piranha over there, and then it can be served for dinner, for example. And here they will learn. At the Amazon there are loads of medicine plants.
Medicinal plants.
Yeah, medicinal plants, and you can learn a lot from them. Our vessels, for example, the anaconda has a capacity for 40 passengers, and the manatee for 30 passengers.
So you've been out all day, and you're coming back to this
exactly.
Comfortable
Yeah, the facilities on board the anaconda and the manatee are really similar. As you can see here, they are ceiling to floor windows. The dining rooms. Then you can move the tables around, make a big group or a shorter group. Doesn't matter. You can have a nice cocktail. And can you imagine being all day trekking with mat, being swimming, being kayaking, and then just come to treat yourself in a deluxe way? You can be at the jacuzzi on your cabin, or you can be at the jacuzzi on the sand deck.
On the sand deck of the top.
And you can treat yourself with a glass of wine or a glass of champagne.
Bubbly.
Why not?
Okay, and this is what the 2 boats look like. The manatee is completely renovated.
No, it's not renovated. It has been built again.
Rebuilt. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's the
it is a brand new vessel, and it's our baby actually, and it's the anaconda sister.
Okay, well, fantastic, and they really are amazing products. I would say that because I'm helping out today, but I honestly think they are, and they're an amazing way to see the jungle, to experience them, and get that interaction with wildlife, but also see it in comfort as well, and very safe and very professional operation run by all the team here. So we've seen that world. Thanks, Lottie. We're going to come back again at the end. Do post us any questions, and don't look dumbfounded like this chat here. Do send us your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them either now or later. Now we're going to transform into another world. This idea that we want to talk to you about today, of this perfect combination between the Amazon and the Galapagos. Manuel, we're going to go over to you with the Galapagos, this amazing world made famous by Charles Darwin. So the same start as we talked about with the Amazon. It's you can go by boat to the Galapagos.
Well, really no. If you want to spend at least 3 days sailing the Pacific Ocean, but
not everybody's idea of fun.
No, I don't think that is very funny for many people. So for many travelers, the best way to go to Galapagos is by flight. So you can fly to either from Quito or from Guayaquil. The flight is quite short. It's 1.5 or 2 hours, depending on your departing airport, and you will be arriving to Galapagos even for in Baltra or San Cristobal, which are the two main islands in Galapagos. So from there you can go. It's also normally very early in the morning that you are flying to the island, so you will be starting your itinerary during the midday. So it happens. It's the same like the Amazon. So you will be starting your adventure during the afternoon of the.
It's still pretty amazing if we think to combine these two itineraries. We come out of the Amazon in the midday or early afternoon of the day before. You would stay a night in Quito, up in the Andes, and then you would fly. So within 24 hours, you've gone from the steaming Amazon to this strange landscape we'll see of the Galapagos as we go through. Is there, like with the Amazon, what's a good time? Is there a bad time to visit the Galapagos?
No, there is no bad time to visit. Also, you can visit Galapagos all year long. But in Galapagos, even though we are in the equator line, there is no tropical weather. We depend from the current, the ocean currents from the Humboldt, which is the cold one, and the El Niño phenomenon, which brings the hot seawater. So in Galapagos we have two seasons. The dry season, but dry in Galapagos means that is cold water. We have a drizzle. We call it garua during the afternoon, and there are beautiful blue skies. So it's like this. Beautiful blue sky. It runs from June to December, and also it's ideal for doing scuba diving because it's a great underwater visibility. It's very clear.
It's strange. It's a bit colder, but it's much clearer. Okay.
And
the time of year?
The rainy season is a bit warmer. It rains during the afternoon, and it's ideal for doing snorkeling because the water is very pleasant the water temperature is very pleasant to be. And it's from January to June, so you can be, just imagine, it happens to myself when I went to Galapagos doing the snorkeling, and then you can see the marine iguana feeding themselves under the water, and I kind of describe you how you will feel if you see that type of things, or the penguin passing very fast in front of you. We call it torpedoes.
So it's like this photo, which we promise we haven't photoshopped, and these are the kind of David Attenborough moments that we have in the Galapagos, and that's because you said about you can be close to marine iguanas, you can be close to penguins because the animals
are not fear to humans, so you can be quite close to the animals, and they won't attack you, and they in fact normally the guide give you the advices because you cannot be no more than closer than 2 meters or 6 feet to the animal, because we don't have to affect the behavior that they have.
That's right.
But remember, in this case, the Galapagos has an endemic species, so you can find just this type of animals only there.
The giant tortoise is one of them.
It's like 30% of the animals, and they're allocated in specific islands. So if you want to watch some of these animals, you can go. You need to
go to that island.
To that island,
and you won't see it anywhere else. That's important.
No. So if you want to see the flightless cormorant, you have to go or choose the itinerary that goes to the Isabela or the Fernandina Island. So it depends of your interest. If you're a beer washer, or if you want to see a specific behavior of the animal, you should go in a specific itinerary.
But part of the interest, I think, in the selling points of Galapagos, also that people maybe don't know, they're of volcanic origin, and you've got this amazing diversity also of landscapes there. The landscape between islands is completely different. So you can stay in one day in a seashore landscape like this one, very beautiful, relaxing, and then in the afternoon also you can just hike to one of these places like this one. This is a huge caldera. No?
This is a Sierra Negra volcano, which is amazing just to be there. And yes, it's a lot of rocky islands that have a lot of lava fields.
So well worth kind of having an itinerary that takes in different islands, different vegetation zones like this. We can see how green it is. The other island wasn't green at all. In terms of the islands, obviously we know their importance. It's one of the biggest marine reserves in the world, and a very important national park. And environmental education projects that you're doing, that you support as Latin Trails.
Yeah. The Galapagos Island is like the paradise for scientists. So there are many projects running there, but we are helping to fund some environmental educations to local peoples to minimize, so they can understand how to minimize the impact of tourism in this very fragile ecosystem, and also to restore the wildlife in Floriana, because they have in the past pirates or whalers brought many animals that have put in danger the very endemic species in the island.
Like
so
goats and rats, etc.
Yeah,
so projects to eradicate those species.
Yeah, like hunting the wild pigs or the rats, as you said, to minimize that, to avoid that they eat the marine iguanas or some special species.
And here we mentioned Floriana Island, which is a really special island in the south, and it's one of the islands, like many of the outlying islands, that you can really only get to on a cruise. There are land-based options in the Galapagos that have developed over the last years, but there are the cruise option has great advantages. One of which looks like snorkeling. That would be a great reason for the amount of opportunities you get to snorkel.
Yeah, in doing cruising in Galapagos give you a lot of opportunities to do snorkeling in many different spots during your journey.
Right.
So you want to see the same underwater wildlife. So you will experience many things during the
really
cruise.
amazing the experiences you can have there.
Yeah, just imagine yourself just kayaking yourself or with your partner in a very harsh environment that the Galapagos has, but a very amazing and breathtaking view. So
you never know when a penguin
or the flightless cormorant comes. And as you said, we have the opportunities by taking the cruise to visit many islands that are not close to the main the populated islands,
and have good time on the islands as well, because the boat will always anchor near the landing site, and then you go down with the guide, and you've got good time. When you come back, obviously you're on board. You're on this beautiful yacht.
Yeah, and you will experience this type of sunset. Galapagos has one of the amazing sunsets in the world, and one of the amazing things that you can experience here is having this sunset during the afternoon, but waking up in the morning in a completely different environment.
Yeah.
So
the yachts will move during the day.
During
the
afternoon.
Around the island here, we can see different itineraries with different landing sites in the morning and the afternoon, etc. So you're really seeing a lot of the islands in a short space of time.
Depending of your time, you can cruise between four days up to 15 days if you combine some of the itineraries.
15 days. If you're a hardcore Darwin fan, you could do 15 days in the Galapagos. Amazing. And you've got the Latin Trails operate these two amazing boats. Tell us about them. One's the Sea Star, and the other one's the Seaman Journey. Yeah,
the Sister Journey is our boutique yacht. Both of the vessels has capacity for 16 passengers, so it's a very personalized service. So in the case of the Sister Journey, we have 8 cabins, 4 in the upper deck, 4 at the main deck. And you can here, in the case of the Sister, we have two jacuzzis at the sun deck, three dining areas. If you want to dine in the outdoor area,
I can see that in the photo there. So that's al fresco dining.
Al fresco dining. So you will experience the Galapagos by the nature and by the comfort that the yacht gives you. And if you have and the case of the Seaman is our first class catamaran, is more stable. So if you have a little of seasickness, you can.
A better option.
It's a better option for you. Also, it has a sun deck with a shaded area and under the sun. We have a al fresco dining area and an indoor dining area. So we have it's a very, very comfortable cruise.
Yeah.
So in
You've
many
got cocktails too, like on the Anaconda, very important. And the cocktail maker, we can see.
yeah.
Cool.
So you won't regret if you choose one of our of these boats because each one gives you a good experience.
Yeah, I think they're amazing as you go around. I think after about 3 days in the Galapagos cruising, you kind of forget about the world. And if you kind of turn your cell phone off, you start really appreciating where you are, and I think it's an amazing place to visit. And particularly, we're talking about these two natural realms, these two amazing biodiverse in the case of the Amazon, and actually, Galapagos isn't biodiverse; it's just got these amazing creatures with their fearlessness. And what better way to like cram in this experience than visiting both of them in one go. That's the itinerary we'd love to share with you after this webinar. Sorry, there are two options. There's a 14-day and a 15-day option that we'll be sending you with all the details of that. Obviously, with Quito as a fulcrum in the middle. These little river turtles, these charapas, did you remember the name? They're called charapas.
Oh yeah, little charapas.
Have we got any questions? I think there's a good question about children that I thought was worthy of talking about, maybe Australians traveling with children. I think just before, in general terms in Ecuador, I think it's a great country to travel with kids. I've got kids and they're always very welcome everywhere we go. The Ecuadorians tend to spoil children if anything, and they always look out for families. I think it's a real icebreaker way of traveling the country as well. In the case of the Amazon, Lore, what's your take on children?
Well, there's no problem at all. We welcome children. We actually have interconnected cabins to help them all to be together. The minimum age will be 6 years old, and they don't need to feel a release form. Also, we will provide like special itineraries for them with short walks, swimming, and as well we have like special food for them. We treat them with hamburgers, French fries, yes, a little bit, so the fathers can be relaxing on the jacuzzi or having something to drink at the bar.
Okay, one of those cocktails.
Yeah.
Great. And Manuel, what about in the Galapagos? Can you go? What's your recommendation for children? How young, or what would you say?
Well, you can go to Galapagos with 7-year-old children if you want. Normally, also we have special itineraries for them. We pamper them on board, so they won't be tired at the end of the cruise. We give them like a hunting treasure and many things inside of the boat. So yes, we are very happy to receive children during the cruise.
I think they're amazing. I think as a parent, there would be when you write those letters to the school's director or the headmaster, and you go, "I'm going to take my children out of class early." I think Amazon or the Galapagos are one of the destinations where the headmaster might actually encourage you, and instead of look at you sternly. So I think they are amazing places for young minds to live biology lessons, as I've described it as well. I think that's an amazing opportunity to take advantage of it, and any school holiday, as we've seen, is a good time. Okay, we come to what is not the most exciting part of the seminar. I'm sorry, the most exciting part has been everything else, but I'm sure you're excited. Who's going to win this prize? And Lore, we're going to do this randomly, and we're going to choose a number. So pick a number from 1 to 30, and we're going to go with whoever's on the list.
I'm going to pick number 3. It's my birthday day,
it's my birthday as
the
well.
Lucky one will be the one.
Number 3.
Number 3.
And so back office, I've got number 3 is a woman called Lily Almeida, and she's from Alma Travel. So well done, Lily. You've just won a prize, which is a cruise on one of the 2 Amazon boats and one of the 2 Galapagos boats, one person. And I'm very jealous, and I'm going to sign up soon and pretend I'm an Australian tour operator for the next webinar, so I can get to go as well. So thank you very much, Australian webinar participants. We've made it through. We've got in under 40 minutes, which is amazing. And we hope your Thursday morning continues fruitful, productive, Do send us your questions. We'll be sending the itinerary with the details. The teams are here to help with any questions you might have. Really amazing combination, don't forget. And thank you very much, and we'll see you all very soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.